welcome to the channel. It's our first video, obviously. Going to be talking about any big moves during the offseason, getting into the year, and Bills related material. Let's hop right into JJ Watt.
So this Monday, JJ Watt sent out a tweet saying basically he put a picture of him squatting in a Cardinals shirt and saying source me. This is, well, we'll get into why I think that this is something that needs to be taken into account for just JJ's future. But this is obviously big because JJ is the face of the Texans. He probably still is, even though he's off the team. And seeing a guy like him with the quality pass rush, the quality career that he's had, move is very surprising. And I just wanted to start off. Let's just go with Arizona was not an expected place for him to go. That's why this was so surprising. And the reason it was not an expected place to go was because JJ tweeted out, "I want a ring before I retire." So people were thinking, places like the Packers, the Bills, maybe even like the Chiefs or the Bucks. Obviously, all these teams have no money. The Steelers as well. All these teams have no money. So we were thinking JJ's going to go ring chasing. It was pretty, I thought that was pretty reasonable to think, especially with the tweets he'd been saying. There was definitely more, but I want a ring before I retire was the most, obvious. And
and even before the Texans getting rid of him, you could tell this guy just wants a ring.
Yeah,
the press conference he had after his few final games where he's getting pissed off at the Texans,
saying that nobody takes accountability and that we need to go out there and try hard. And he was even apologizing to the Texans fan base, which I thought was very, very. I really appreciated him saying that, and I'm not even a Texans fan, so. I think that it was clearly breaking apart, and the Texans have not had much postseason success. They have 5 postseason wins in their entire since the start of the franchise in 2002, and I think the furthest they've gone is the divisional, and they've never made it to the championship. So obviously, you'd think he'd want some success. So. All of a sudden, Diane Rossini came out with a report saying JJ had gotten an offer around $16 million, which was very surprising. But I think, personally, I don't know about you, I just said maybe this is a team that just put an offer out there. I don't think that he's actually looking for an offer like this because it's clearly not a team that we were talking about.
Going into that, being Bills fans and him kneeling towards the Bills and
Packers.
I was thinking he'd take a little bit of a pay cut, maybe like $10 million a year. I think that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not.
He wanted money, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Was I think this was more of a media stunt than anything. This really shows a lot about the media, that you can, change any narrative by simply just not talking, letting the media do their thing, and it's the complete opposite. So I just wanted to bring that to attention, that I think that JJ was playing the media. I think that
he was definitely trolling everybody. A lot of the things he posted and said on Twitter.
A lot of different hints. Fake hints to different teams. There was a lot of in every direction. He was just trolling, and I think that's honestly that's funny, but at the same time, it really caught everyone by surprise when he did sign with the Cardinals. And I think that one thing that this shows is that he wants attention toward him, which we'll get into something that ties in to something that was leaked out of the Texans organization. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I just want to bring some quick things up towards Arizona, and you can give your opinions on these. Back at the end of the very trail end of Emmitt Smith's career, he signed with the Arizona Cardinals. And basically the Cardinals used him as a poster boy to bring people into the stadium.
Yeah.
This is the same can this be the same thing that we're looking at here? I mean, they're big. I think this is personally an overpay, no matter which way you look at it. I don't think JJ's
Yes.
a $16 million a year guy anymore.
I agree. Overpaid. That's why we thought he was going toward better teams. But talking about the Emmitt Smith type of thing, I think for sure. But I think he won't be a bad player. I think they're gonna expect big things from him.
Which
But at the same time, definitely getting more attention.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up in a second. I just want to say, definitely could be a poster boy thing for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Along with the still good production that comes out of J.J. Watt, that can come out of J.J. Watt. They did unretire Marshall Goldberg's number 99. Cardinals legend had his 99 retired, brought it unretired. The family gave their consent and their blessing to JJ for that. And let's just get... I think that really does show that the people of Arizona are just going nuts over this. They are really excited, which is good to see
any
out of
team
the
would.
ownership. Well, yeah, but that's really good to see out of the ownership.
Yeah,
you just paid this guy $60 million. Definitely, that hints towards the poster boy thing as well. And they were right. They'd be right there. So, let's go right into JJ's production. So, just quickly, I'd like to bring up what's going to be changing in JJ's perspective and JJ's what he's going against. The NFC, we're not going to go through their entire schedule and name the offensive lines he's going to be facing, because obviously that changes year to year. But the NFC West offensive line rankings, the Rams rank 3rd in the NFL. The 49ers rank 9th in the NFL. And although Russell Wilson's talking up about how bad his line is, which I wouldn't be interested to make a video on in the future, the Seahawks line is in the middle of the pack at 14th in the league.
Yeah.
So, he is going up against some pretty solid to elite talent on in terms of the offensive lines he's facing. However, that does come with help. The Cardinals sack leaders, Hassan Reddick with 12.5 sacks last year, Dennis Gardick with 7, Marcus Golden and Devon Kennard with 3 sacks each, and there are 7 other players on that team with 2 or more sacks. Opposed to the Texans sack leaders last year, who, besides JJ with 5, who led the team, they had Whitney Merciless and Charles Omenihu with 4, and 9 players with 1 to 3 sacks. So much less help around him. So, and I guess what I'm trying to say here is that JJ is going to be in a very similar position. There are some good lines in the AFC South, and even though you're saying like the Jaguars are bad, he still had to face Cam Robinson, who is a very good left tackle, tackle. I just wanted to ask your opinion on what do you think JJ, take us through with that information. What do you see out of JJ in 2021?
Yeah, I definitely expect pretty high production from him. I think it'd be reasonable for, even if this was a poster boy situation, paying him that much money. I expect around 9 sacks from him at least. I think that's fair to say. His leadership brings a big part of that defense.
Yeah, definitely.
A ton of young guys and some veterans too. I think he adds on to that, and yeah, I expect a pretty good year out of him.
Now, I would like to note that they do have to bring back Hassan Reddick. I expect them to. And
now let me ask you this: do you think he's gonna be saying that they re-sign everybody right on that D line? Do you think he will have like the space to get more sacks, get more QB pressures?
I think that, well, one thing that was kind of skipped over was in this tweet by Ian Rappaport where he broke down it is actually not the $31 million is max potential. He's getting $28 million over those 2 years base salary with incentives. The incentives are that he gets over
True.
10 sacks in both years.
Yes.
This gives him a reason to, play it his hardest, which I'm not saying JJ wouldn't normally, but really does push a narrative that you want to see him do really good on your team. That I think that will push him, not only him, but the defense to get the backfield, get to that quarterback. And I think, like I said, with the help around him that he didn't have at the Texans, you're no matter what, you're going to see an increase because you can't just double Hassan Reddick. You have to take care of JJ still. Along with the Gardeck and Golden. I really do think I can see this Cardinals defensive line bringing some of the highest pressures in the league with all the weapons they have, including JJ. I mean, you have two people who have had seasons over 10 sacks on that D line.
I do expect a lot of O-lines throughout the league adjusting to their line throughout the year, watching film. I think they will be able to break down. Now, assuming a few guys on that line gets hurt, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I think this is definitely one of the situations, though, where you see it with a lot of teams. We'll push this. You see it with a lot of teams where they'll bring in a bunch of these new players. They have a bunch of money, and you bring them in, and for some reason, they're just not producing. And this actually happened with our Buffalo Bills this year with all this D-line, the veterans we brought in, and they just didn't really mix. And I think that something that can happen with those types of things is you, as a defense, you got to think as one. You have to be always moving with each other. I don't see that happening here because assuming you bring back Hassan Reddick, everyone is familiar with each other, and then you just have J.J. Watt there. And J.J., I'm assuming, is very adaptive. He's played with a lot of different quality lines and quality players around him in that Texans organization that I'm sure he'll come in and mesh pretty well.
I think it'll all come together or come down to what time throughout the year he adjusts with the team or that defense.
In terms of what do you mean in terms of if they get this production? I'm confused.
Yes. Yeah.
I definitely could see JJ between 8 and 12 sacks this year. Or going into 2021. Assuming he doesn't get injured, of course, that is a big risk, which is why $23 million guaranteed with a guy who has torn his pec, who has played as hard as he does. It is
very ridiculous.
It's scary. If you're a Cardinals fan, you're looking at this, looking past the initial excitement. That being said, why do you think he came to the Cardinals? I saw a report that he wants a quarterback like Kyler. He likes Kyler Murray. Obviously, he has a pretty similar, in some ways, in some respects, similar play style to Deshaun Watson. And I just get that, Kyler Murray, he sees him as a winner because, he'll put his body on the line, hence his shoulder injury this year. And he's still young, of course, but, lot to go, lot to be liked. Do you think there's anything else that should be brought up of why he went to Arizona besides the money and Tyler?
I don't think so. I think production. I think he does like to be known for his stats. I think he wants to win, but that doesn't really show here. So stats, money. I don't know if that whole Kyler thing is true.
Stats, money, building your brand, kinda.
If so, I don't know if he didn't see that in Josh Allen.
Or even someone like Aaron Rodgers. I didn't see him going to the Titans, to be quite honest.
Nah.
The Steelers, I thought, honestly, would have been a nice thing to see. But that I thought, he wanted a ring, and Steelers is not where you're going to get a ring. Sorry. But anyway, I think that, yeah, I really do think that his image and his stats, his want for those, did show in the signing. And I'm not saying this is correct or this is, something I like to see, because I actually hated this coming out of the Texans organization. But there was a report from Josh Reed of WIVB.com. He spoke with someone in the Texans organization for a review on J.J. Watt, and it was not glowing. The quote said, "He's selfish, only care about his stats. He does a lot of things that hurts the defense. He hurts us more than he helped us, and finally, I wouldn't want him." Now, this is why J.J. left. This is the cancer that's brewing in the Texans organization every single day. Usually when players leave, you have coaches, GMs saying, he was great, love to have him, anyone to have him is lucky, stuff like that. But no, this is not what I saw here. Now, unfortunately, the signing does kind of portray what he said here is true. I just think this is irresponsible of the Texans organization, who obviously is, burning down right now. But just to say that he's selfish when he put his body on the line for a decade playing for your garbage team, that's just awful. I've had an increasing liking for J.J. Watt in the recent future.
Yes, I think that was a disrespectful thing to say. He had a big part of that Houston community. He did a lot of great things down there.
Donated $50 million.
Yup, I think you have to send him off with hopes for the best. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous.
But hey, that's why Deshaun wants to leave. Everyone good that is out in there wants to get out of there, and that's why you went 4-12. So, they're gonna burn down, and this is what's gonna happen to this. I don't see this could be another video as well. I would like to do some investigating on the Texans organization. They're continuing the pushing people out of their organization with stuff like this. Overall, I don't think that if you are a Packers fan, a Titans fan, a Steelers fan, a Bills fan, one of these teams that was rumored to be in the running for J.J. Watt, I don't think you take this as like, hey, why didn't he want to come here? Don't overthink about it too much, because money talks, and those teams don't have money.
It's a job. You got to remember that. He's getting paid big money. He's had injuries. I don't know if that comes with it. He wants to make his
guaranteed
money while
to get the bag. Yep. 100%.
I don't think you can take anything out of this other than the money.
And I wouldn't even flame him for that. Go get your money. If you can get money, take the money. Because in the end, a Super Bowl ring means a lot, but having an extra $31 million means a lot more to
and we're not
some
saying,
people. To some people.
We're not saying the Cardinals can't do it. I think he's got to see potential in the team somewhat.
Oh, 100%. The Cardinals...
He's not going to go to another trash team if, they're not doing good, which was where he came from.
Which apparently there was other offers around $16 million on the table. And so, look, but you just know, he said a contender. He asked to go to a contender. That's what he said he wanted to do. And they are not contenders. They haven't.
I don't know. I think they could be.
Oh, 100%. But a contender isn't someone who missed the playoffs the year before.
Missed playoffs. Yeah.
But this will be our first video. This is regarding J.J. Watt, the signing to Arizona. Just expect future content on all things in the offseason. We will be making Bills-related videos, but we're NFL fans. We're not just Bills fans, so we're going to make videos on anything surprising or interesting around the league. So hopefully you got to learn some things, learn why J.J. Watt made the decision that he did, because it was quite confusing off the rip. I know I was a bit confused. I was like, okay, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, that should wrap it up. and look forward to videos in the future.